Imaging finding a rare coin so rare it could pay off your house today, we're diving into 10 of the most valuable U.S. coins ever found. Real coins worth hundreds and even millions of dollars or more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next rare find. Let's start this.
What if I told you that one of those possibilities is the 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny? And what if that coin has been hiding in drawers, attics, and coffee cans across America for decades, waiting for someone like you to recognize it? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just look at pennies the same way again. You'll see opportunity. You'll see urgency. And you might see the beginning of a very different lifestyle that we're talking about: the 1945 wheat penny from the United States of America, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent. This iconic coin, designed by Victor David Brenner, features the powerful profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two elegant wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse. It was minted during the final year of World War II, a time of immense global change, uncertainty, and transformation. And that historical weight alone makes this coin special, but history is only the beginning. The 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1945, coins produced in Philadelphia typically carried no mint mark. That's why collectors refer to it as no mint mark. Millions were made, yes. But here's where the story shifts from ordinary to extraordinary, because not all 1945 pennies are created equal. Act 1 begins with the ordinary American home. Maybe it's your home. A dusty coin jar in the kitchen. A cigar box inherited from a parent. A forgotten envelope tucked inside a Bible. Inside that container, among common coins, sits a 1945 wheat penny. At first glance, it looks worn, maybe even insignificant. You might think, it's just a penny. What could it possibly be worth? That question is the exact reason fortunes slip through fingers, because while many 1945 no-mint mark wheat pennies trade for modest amounts in circulated condition, high-grade examples and rare error varieties command serious attention in today's marketplace. In top uncirculated condition, graded by respected services, these coins have reached into the tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions. Yes, tens of thousands. For 1 cent. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you truly examined your pocket change under bright light? When was the last time you asked yourself whether that old penny might be more than copper and nostalgia? This is where excitement begins to build. In 1945, the composition returned to 95% copper after the famous 1943 steel cents. That copper glow, when preserved in brilliant red condition, is highly desirable among collectors. A 1945 no-mint mark penny graded in superb mint state condition, especially with full original red luster, can sell for thousands upon thousands of dollars. Auction houses across America have recorded impressive results for pristine examples, sometimes climbing past the $20,000 range depending on quality and eye appeal. And then there are the errors. Error coins are where fear and urgency enter the room. Because errors are accidental. They are limited. They are often discovered late. And once the market recognizes them, demand surges. The 1945 wheat penny is known for double dies, off-center strikes, and other striking anomalies. A strong double die obverse, where the lettering and date show clear duplication, can dramatically increase value. Collectors compete aggressively for dramatic doubling, especially on the word Liberty or the date 1945. The sharper the doubling, the more electric the bidding environment becomes. Think about that. A tiny shift in metal alignment at the mint, invisible to rushed eyes decades ago, could be the reason someone today earns thousands of dollars. Act 2 is about awakening. This is the moment when you, the viewer, begin to realize that this is not just about a coin. It's about awareness. It's about knowledge. It's about positioning yourself in a marketplace where others remain asleep. Have you ever wondered how to sell old rare coins? Have you asked yourself how to make money from coins instead of letting them sit idle? Have you imagined turning pocket change into a meaningful financial asset? The first key is authentication. If you believe you have a high-grade or error 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny, professional grading is critical. Services like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company encapsulate coins and assign official grades. A certified mint state example carries authority. Authority creates trust. And trust creates higher bids. Now let's talk about fear for a moment. Because fear can either paralyze you or push you into action. The fear is this: what if you unknowingly spend a rare coin? What if you sell it at a garage sale for $1? What if you accept a low offer because you didn't understand the market? That's not negativity. That's reality. And awareness eliminates that risk. The marketplace for rare coins in the United States is strong, liquid, and highly competitive. Auction platforms such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries regularly feature high-grade wheat pennies. When two serious collectors want the same coin, bidding wars happen. Prices climb. Records fall. And sellers benefit. So how do you sell old and rare coins in the USA and maximize value in an auction shop? You prepare strategically. You get professional grading. You photograph clearly. You compare auction archives. You consult reputable dealers. And you create competitive tension by choosing the right venue. Imagine listing a stunning red 1945 no-mint Mark wheat penny in a premier auction. Imagine watching bids rise in real time. Imagine realizing that a coin once dismissed as common is now funding a dream vacation, paying off debt, or investing in your future. Exciting, isn't it? But here's a pattern interrupt for you. If you're thinking, well, if millions were minted, how can it be rare? That's a brilliant question. Because rarity in coins isn't just about how many were made. It's about how many survive in exceptional condition. It's about eye appeal. It's about demand. The 1945 wheat penny was heavily circulated during wartime America. Finding one in flawless, blazing red, untouched condition decades later is a different story entirely. That's why condition matters so much. A worn coin might be worth a few cents. A pristine gem might command thousands, and here's where urgency tightens its grip. Every year, more high-grade coins disappear into private collections. Every year, competition intensifies. As interest in tangible assets grows, so does demand for classic American coinage. Act 3 is transformation. Picture yourself not just as someone who stumbled onto a valuable penny, but as someone who understands the rare coin market. Someone who knows how to evaluate, how to authenticate, how to sell. Someone who sees opportunity in everyday objects, how to make money from coins. It starts with education and action. Study grading standards. Compare auction results. Network with reputable dealers. Attend coin shows. Even a single exceptional 1945 no-mint Mark wheat penny could be the spark that ignites a deeper journey into numismatics, from pocket change to meaningful profit. From curiosity to confidence. From uncertainty to empowerment. Ask yourself, do you have coins stored away right now? Have you checked your inherited collections carefully? Have you searched for doubling on your 1945 date? Have you examined the surfaces for original red luster under magnification? What if the next life-changing discovery is already in your possession? The demand for classic American coins remains strong because they represent more than currency. They represent history, resilience, and identity. The 1945 wheat penny embodies the closing chapter of World War II, a nation stepping into victory and rebuilding. Owning a superb example connects collectors to that pivotal moment that if you're serious about selling old and rare coins in America, approach it professionally. Avoid rushing. Avoid underpricing. Seek multiple opinions. Use established auction houses when appropriate. High-end coins belong on high-end stages. Remember, value is not accidental. It is revealed through knowledge. Tonight, before you relax, before you scroll past this moment, ask yourself one more question. What is sitting quietly in your home that could change your financial trajectory? Imagine this. You are sitting at your kitchen table late at night. The house is quiet. Bills are stacked to one side. Maybe retirement is closer than you would like. Maybe you are thinking about your children, your grandchildren, your future. And right there in a small jar of loose change, sits a simple copper coin dated 1940. No mint mark. A humble wheat penny. What if I told you that this ordinary-looking piece of history from the United States Mint could be the doorway to extraordinary wealth? What if the coin you have ignored for decades could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars, if it carries the right error and the right condition? Today, we are diving deep into the powerful story of the 1940 no mint mark wheat penny. Not just its value. Not just its errors. But its potential. Its demand. And how you, yes you, could turn pocket change into serious money. From pocket changes to millions. How to sell old rare coins. How to make money from coins. How to sell old and rare coins in USA and its value in auction shop. We're struck with doubled dies. Some have off-center strikes. Some show dramatic die cracks. And some exist in pristine, high-grade condition that collectors fight over in auctions. When rarity meets condition, value explodes. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly looked at the pennies in your drawer when collectors become aggressive? That is when auction rooms heat up. That is when ordinary coins turn into serious assets. Picture an auction room. Competitive bidders. Fast-paced calls. A rare 1940 double-die wheat penny appears on the screen. The bidding starts modestly. Then it climbs. And climbs. And climbs. Because serious collectors understand scarcity. They understand history. They understand demand, and demand for early Lincoln Wheat pennies remains strong in the United States coin market. Why? Because they represent a golden era of American coinage. They are affordable entry points for new collectors. And high-grade examples are becoming harder to find every year. Now let us talk about errors. Because this is where fortunes hide. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment during its creation, causing certain letters or numbers to appear doubled. Imagine the date 1940 slightly doubled. Imagine Liberty showing clear duplication. Collectors love visible errors. They pay premiums for them. There are also repunched mint mark varieties, though on the no mint mark Philadelphia issues this would not apply, but die cracks and cuts absolutely do. Large, dramatic die breaks can add collector appeal. Off-center strikes that still show a full date can command strong premiums. And coins with blazing red original luster, preserved for over 80 years, can shock you with their auction results. Now I want to interrupt your thinking for just a second. Be honest. Are you still tossing pennies into a jar without checking the dates? If you are, you might be letting opportunity slip away 1 cent at a time. It sounds almost humorous, doesn't it? Becoming wealthy because you paid attention to pennies. But that is exactly how smart collectors operate. They pay attention where others do not. Act 2 begins with awareness. You have discovered the potential of the 1940 no mint mark wheat penny. Now the question becomes practical. How to sell old rare coins. How to sell old and rare coins in USA and its value in auction shop. How to make money from coins in a real, secure way. First, you must confirm what you have. Condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor to mint state 70. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A heavily worn 1940 penny will not compare to one that looks freshly struck. This is where professional grading companies come into play. Many collectors trust third-party grading to authenticate and assign condition. A certified coin often sells for stronger prices because buyers feel secure. Second, identify errors correctly. Do not assume every unusual mark is valuable. True mint errors have specific characteristics. Research completed auction sales. Study images. Compare carefully. Knowledge is power in this market. Third, choose the right selling platform. Should you sell to a local coin shop? Should you consign to a major auction house? Should you sell online? Each option has advantages. Local shops offer speed and convenience. Auctions can generate competitive bidding, especially for rare high-grade or error coins. Online marketplaces provide reach but require careful listing and reputation management. Have you ever walked into a coin shop and wondered if you were getting the best price? Have you considered that an auction environment might create urgency among buyers? That urgency is powerful. It transforms a quiet listing into a competitive battle. Now let us talk about value in auction shop environments. High-grade 1940 no-mint Mark Wheat pennies with strong eye appeal have achieved impressive results when demand aligns with scarcity. Collectors building complete Lincoln Wheat sets often upgrade their coins, paying premiums for exceptional specimens. When two determined collectors want the same coin, price ceilings can shatter. This is where fear and urgency enter the story. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing the coin to another bidder. Urgency because opportunities like this do not appear every day. And if you are the seller, that emotional tension works in your favor, but you must approach this intelligently. Protect your coin. Never clean it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Even light polishing can reduce a potentially valuable coin to a fraction of its worth. Keep it in a safe, dry holder. Handle it by the edges only. Presentation matters. Let me ask you again. What if your 1940 wheat penny has sat untouched for decades in a safe environment? What if it still shines with original red luster? What if it carries a dramatic error? Would you recognize it? Or would you spend it for 1 cent? Act 3 is about transformation. You move from curiosity to action. From ignorance to awareness. From passive coin holder to strategic seller. Imagine taking a small envelope to a reputable auction house. The experts examine your coin. They nod. They recognize the quality. Weeks later, your coin appears in a catalog viewed by thousands of collectors nationwide. Bidding opens. Competition builds. The final hammer falls at a number far beyond your expectations. That is not fantasy. That is how the rare coin market operates when the right coin meets the right audience, from pocket changes to millions. Is that dramatic? Perhaps. But remember, every major collection started with one coin. Every serious dealer once examined a single penny and saw potential instead of insignificance. You might be asking, how to sell old rare coins safely? The answer is education and strategy. Learn current market trends. Follow auction results. Build relationships with reputable dealers. Consider professional grading for higher value pieces. Transparency and authenticity attract serious buyers. You might also ask, how to make money from coins consistently? The answer is discipline. Search bank rolls. Attend estate sales. Study mintages and varieties. Focus on condition. Think long term. Rare coins are tangible assets with historical depth. They are portable, collectible, and in constant demand among enthusiasts. Now let us connect everything. The 1940 no-mint Mark Wheat penny is not just copper. It is a symbol. A symbol of overlooked opportunity. We are diving deep into the story, the mystery, and the powerful money-making potential of the 1941 no-mint Mark Wheat penny from the United States of America. This is not just about a coin. This is about opportunity. This is about awareness. This is about transforming pocket change into serious money. And if you are between 30 and 65, living in the United States, holding on to jars of old coins, this message could change how you see every penny you own. The 1941 wheat penny was minted during a fascinating period in American history. The country was standing on the edge of World War II. Industry was rising. Tension was building. And in the middle of that historic year, millions of Lincoln Wheat cents were struck. The obverse features the dignified portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and strength. The reverse displays the iconic wheat stalks design that collectors across the nation recognize instantly. Now here is where the story becomes powerful. The 1941 no-mint Mark Wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1941, pennies produced there did not carry a mint mark. That simple absence of a small letter beneath the date is what we mean by no mint mark. And while millions were produced, not all of them are created equal. Condition is king. Error is everything. And rarity is profit. Let me ask you something. Have you ever examined the 1941 penny in your collection under magnification? Have you looked closely at the date? The lettering? The rim? Because some 1941 no-mint mark wheat pennies carry dramatic errors that turn them from common sense into highly demanded collector prizes, there are examples with strong double die characteristics, where the numbers and letters appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. There are off-center strikes where the coin design is partially missing but the date is still visible, which collectors love. There are lamination errors where the metal surface peels or splits. There are broad strikes, clipped planchets, and striking anomalies that create one-of-a-kind pieces. Now imagine holding one of those errors in your hand without realizing it. Imagine spending it on a cup of coffee. That is why knowledge is power. That is why attention creates wealth. In circulated condition, a typical 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny might be worth several cents to a few dollars. But here is where excitement rises. In high uncirculated grades, especially those certified in mint state 66 or higher by professional grading services, values can surge dramatically. Coins with blazing red luster, sharp strike, and no visible wear command serious respect in the market, and when you add a dramatic mint error to a high-grade example, the numbers can climb even further. At major auction platforms such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries, rare and beautifully preserved wheat pennies consistently attract aggressive bidding. Collectors compete. Investors analyze population reports. Dealers track registry sets. Demand is real. And when demand meets rarity, price rises. Let's pause for a second. How many times have you walked past a coin shop and wondered, how do I sell old rare coins? How does someone actually turn a penny into thousands of dollars? Is it luck? Is it timing? Or is it strategy? The answer is strategy. Act 1 of our journey is awareness. You must first recognize that the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny is not just a relic. It is part of a legendary series known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, produced from 1909 to 1958. That long production span creates generations of collectors. And collectors create demand. The design, featuring Abraham Lincoln, connects emotionally with American history. Emotional connection drives buying behavior. That is not weakness. That is market psychology. Act 2 is discovery. This is where fear and excitement meet. Fear of missing out. Fear of unknowingly spending something valuable. Excitement at the possibility that your coin jar holds a hidden treasure. When you examine your 1941 penny, you should be checking for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, clear wheat lines on the reverse, full rims, and vibrant original red color. The more original red luster remains, the more collectors are willing to pay. Have you ever thought about grading? Professional grading services encapsulate coins and assign numeric grades. Higher grades mean higher trust. Higher trust means higher bids. And when buyers trust the grade, they open their wallets wider. Now imagine this scenario. You send a stunning 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny with a dramatic double die error to be graded. It returns in a high mint state grade. It goes to auction. 2 determined collectors need that coin to complete a registry set. Bidding starts climbing. 1,000. 2,000. 3,000. The room becomes electric. Online bidders jump in. The final hammer price lands at a maximum dollar value far beyond what the average person would ever imagine for a penny. This is not fantasy. This is how auction psychology works. Act 3 is transformation. From pocket change to powerful asset. From overlooked copper disc to wealth-building opportunity. This is where you ask the real questions. How to make money from coins. How to sell old and rare coins in the USA. Should you go to a local auction shop? Should you list online? Should you approach a reputable coin dealer? Here is the empowering truth. You are not powerless. You have options. You can start by organizing your collection. Separate wheat pennies from modern cents. Look specifically for pre-1959 coins. Study each 1941 penny carefully. Use magnification. Look for doubling. Look for unusual surfaces. If you suspect an error, consult an expert or submit it for grading. When it comes time to sell, timing and venue matter. Major auction houses create national exposure. They attract serious collectors. Competitive bidding environments can push values to their maximum potential. Local coin shops offer faster transactions but may provide wholesale-level pricing. Online marketplaces give flexibility but require careful listing and strong photographs. Let me ask you directly. Do you want quick cash, or do you want maximum dollar value? Do you want convenience, or do you want competitive bidding that could drive the price upward? Your strategy determines your outcome. There is also urgency in this market. High-grade examples are finite. Error coins are unique. As collectors secure premium pieces, supply tightens. When supply tightens and demand remains strong, prices rise. That is basic economics. And right now, vintage American coinage continues to hold powerful appeal. Picture the pride of telling your family that the old penny they laughed about turned into a serious financial win. Picture reinvesting those profits. Picture funding a dream, paying off debt, or building a legacy collection of your own. But here is the pattern interrupt. What if the penny in your jar is just a penny? What if it is worn, scratched, and common? Does that mean the journey ends? We are diving deep into the powerful story of the 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat Penny, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny, minted by the United States Mint during the intense early years of World War II. This is not just a coin. It is a witness to history, a survivor of war, and for the smart collector, a potential doorway to serious money. Let me ask you something right now. When was the last time you checked your pocket change carefully? When was the last time you flipped over a penny and truly looked at the date? Are you absolutely certain you have not already handled a 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny and spent it without realizing its hidden potential? That feeling right there, that slight twist of fear mixed with curiosity, is exactly why this matters. Because in the world of coin collecting, what you do not know can cost you thousands. Act 1 begins in 1942. America was fully engaged in World War II. Copper was a strategic metal. It was desperately needed for ammunition, wiring, and military equipment. The U.S. government faced a difficult question. Should they continue striking pennies in copper, or conserve the metal for the war effort? In 1942, pennies were still struck in a copper alloy, but by 1943, the composition would famously change to steel. That makes 1942 one of the last, normal, copper years before the dramatic wartime shift. The 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny was produced in Philadelphia. And here is something many people overlook. During that time, coins struck in Philadelphia typically did not carry a mint mark. So when you see a 1942 penny with no mint mark under the date, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. Millions were made. But here is the twist. Not all 1942 pennies are created equal. Now let me reset your attention for a second. Imagine telling your spouse, "Honey, remember that jar of pennies? It might be worth more than the car." Sounds dramatic, right? But in the right condition, with the right error, that small copper disc can shock you. Condition is everything. A heavily worn 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny might trade for just a few cents or a few dollars. But in high mint state condition, graded by professional services, the value rises significantly. Collectors pay strong money for coins that look as if they just left the press in 1942. Crisp details. Full luster. Sharp wheat lines on the reverse, and then we move into the powerful territory of errors. Coin errors are where excitement explodes. They are accidental masterpieces. During wartime production, the mint was working at high speed. Dies wore out quickly. Machinery was pushed hard. And when pressure rises, mistakes happen. Some 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat pennies show dramatic doubling on the date or lettering. Others exhibit off-center strikes or die cracks. And the rarest among them can bring extraordinary auction attention. Have you ever wondered how collectors turn pocket change into serious wealth? It begins with knowledge. It continues with action. And it ends with strategy. Act 2 is where things intensify. This is where opportunity meets urgency. The market for high-grade and rare 1942 wheat pennies is driven by demand from collectors who are building complete sets of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series. They want every date, every mint mark, and the finest examples possible. When competition heats up at auction, prices climb. Strong coins in exceptional condition can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on grade and rarity of error. Now let me ask you directly. Are you sitting on a potential error coin right now? Have you checked for doubling on the word liberty? Have you looked at the date under magnification? Have you inspected the wheat stalks on the reverse for sharp detail? If not, why not? This is where many people hesitate. They think, it's just a penny. But the wealthy think differently. They think in terms of assets. They think in terms of scarcity. They think in terms of leverage. A simple magnifying glass can separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. A professional grading submission can transform a raw coin into a certified asset. When a coin receives a high mint state grade, its liquidity in the marketplace increases dramatically. Buyers feel confident. Auction houses market it aggressively. Demand builds. Let's break the pattern again for a second. If I told you that the average American ignores pennies completely, would you want to be average? Or would you rather be the person who looks closer, learns faster, and acts sooner? Because here is the truth. The difference between someone who spends a rare coin and someone who sells it for serious money is education and timing. How do you sell old rare coins in the USA? That question echoes across online forums every single day. The first answer is simple. You need authentication. Reputable grading companies encapsulate your coin, assign it a grade, and certify its authenticity. That plastic holder is not just protection. It is credibility. The second answer is exposure. Major auction platforms attract collectors worldwide. When you place a certified 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny with a recognized auction house, you are not selling to one local buyer. You are presenting your coin to a national and even international audience. Competitive bidding can push prices higher than you expect. The third answer is patience. Strong coins deserve strong marketing. A rushed sale often leaves money on the table. But a well-timed listing during a period of high demand can create powerful momentum. Now let's talk about making money from coins in a broader sense. From pocket change to millions is not fantasy. It is a process. It starts with searching. Rolls of pennies from banks. Old family collections. Estate sales. Garage sales. You look for key dates, high grades, and errors. You learn to recognize luster, strike quality, and originality. You build a small inventory. You reinvest profits. Over time, your knowledge compounds. And compounding knowledge is just as powerful as compounding interest. Have you ever thought about how many billions of pennies have passed through American hands? Within that ocean of copper, rare survivors float quietly. The 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny stands at a crossroads in history. It represents the final copper chapter before steel took over in 1943. That historical significance fuels collector demand. Act 3 brings everything together. Imagine you have discovered a beautiful 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat penny in near flawless condition. You send it for grading. It returns with a high mint state designation. Now you hold not just a coin, but a certified collectible from a pivotal wartime year. You research recent auction results. You see strong realized prices. You feel excitement building, but here is where discipline matters. Do you sell immediately? Or do you wait for a major auction event? Do you market it privately to advanced collectors? Do you build a small collection of similar high-grade coins and sell as a featured group? these decisions separate casual sellers from strategic wealth builders. Let me ask you something personal. What would it mean to you if a coin sitting unnoticed for decades suddenly contributed to your financial freedom? What if your attention to detail today created opportunity tomorrow? The market rewards preparation. Collectors are constantly searching for premium examples of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Dealers are paying strong prices for coins they know they can resell to eager buyers. Auction houses are showcasing top-tier pieces in glossy catalogs. Demand for classic American coinage remains powerful, and here is the urgency. Coins are lost every day. They are damaged, cleaned improperly, or spent unknowingly. High-grade survivors become scarcer over time. Scarcity increases desirability. Desirability drives price. So tonight, after this video ends, will you check your coins? Will you examine that jar on the shelf? Will you ask your parents or grandparents if they have old pennies tucked away? What if a simple wheat penny from the year 1948, struck in the historic halls of the United States Mint, could be worth far more than a single cent? And what if the coin sitting unnoticed in an old jar, a coffee can in the garage, or a forgotten drawer in your parents' home is exactly the kind of coin serious collectors are chasing right now? Today we are diving deep into the story, the mystery, and the massive potential behind the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny. This is not just about copper and numbers. This is about opportunity. This is about awareness. This is about turning knowledge into power and power into profit. And if you are between 30 and 65, living in the United States, thinking about how to sell old rare coins, how to make money from coins, or even dreaming about going from pocket change to millions, then stay with me until the very end. Because what you are about to learn could shift the way you see every penny that crosses your path. Let us begin with the setting. It is 1948. The world is recovering from the devastation of World War II. America is stepping into a new era of growth and confidence. In that year, the United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies. The obverse of the coin proudly displays the profile of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength and unity. On the reverse, two elegant wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design, often called the wheat cent, had been introduced decades earlier and had already become a familiar part of everyday life. Now here is where attention sharpens. The 1948 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. In that era, coins from Philadelphia typically carried no mint mark. So at first glance, a 1948 no mint mark penny might seem ordinary. Common. Nothing special. And this is where most people stop looking. They assume it is just another old penny and move on, but what if that assumption is costing them thousands of dollars? Within the population of 1948 no mint mark wheat pennies, there exist error coins and high-grade specimens that collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums to acquire. We are talking about coins with double die errors, repunched mint marks on other varieties, die cracks, off-center strikes, and coins preserved in pristine uncirculated condition that look as if they were struck yesterday. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you examined a penny under magnification? When was the last time you checked the date closely, looking for subtle doubling in the numbers? When was the last time you held a coin up to the light and studied the lettering for shadows or thickness that should not be there? Most people never do. And that is exactly why opportunity hides in plain sight. Act 1 is awareness. Imagine a man in his 40s cleaning out his late father's toolbox. At the bottom, beneath old screws and nails, he finds a small cloth pouch. Inside are wheat pennies collected decades ago. He almost takes them to the bank to cash in. After all, they are just pennies. But something stops him. Curiosity. He decides to look them up. He learns about grading. He learns about mint errors. He learns that condition can multiply value dramatically. He discovers that a high-grade 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny, especially one with a recognized error, can command serious money in auction environments. Now pause for a moment. What if that man is you? What if the next coin jar you open contains a similar surprise? Are you prepared to recognize it? The market for collectible coins has grown steadily over the decades. Auction houses, coin shops, and online platforms have connected buyers and sellers across the country. When a rare error coin surfaces in exceptional condition, competitive bidding can push prices far beyond face value. And here is the powerful part: demand is driven by scarcity and condition. The fewer pristine examples that exist, the more intense the competition becomes. The 1948 no-mint Mark Wheat penny in average circulated condition may not command extraordinary sums. But in mint state grades, especially certified by top grading services, the story changes dramatically. Collectors pay premiums for coins that exhibit sharp detail in Lincoln's hair, full wheat lines on the reverse, and original luster that radiates under light. Add a striking error such as noticeable doubling on the date or lettering, and you have a coin that moves from common to coveted. Let me break your focus for a second with a simple question. Have you ever spent a penny without looking at it? Of course you have. We all have. That tiny copper disc slips through our fingers without ceremony. But what if the next time you slow down? What if you pause and ask, could this be the one? Act 2 is discovery. This is where excitement builds and urgency enters the room. Across America, there are collectors actively searching for quality wheat pennies from the 1940s. They attend coin shows, browse estate sales, and monitor online auctions daily. Why? Because each year, more coins are lost, damaged, or permanently locked away in private collections. The available supply shrinks. Demand remains strong. Prices respond accordingly. If you are asking how to sell old rare coins, the first step is knowledge. Understand what you have. Learn about grading standards. Compare your coin carefully to high-resolution images of certified examples. Consider professional authentication if you believe you have a high-grade or error specimen. A small investment in grading can dramatically increase buyer confidence and final sale price. If you are wondering how to sell coins in the United States and its value in auction shops, remember this: presentation matters. Coins that are authenticated and graded by reputable services often attract more serious bidders. Auctions create competition. Competition creates higher final prices. And when two determined collectors both want the same coin, that is when magic happens. How do you make money from coins? You combine patience with education. You resist the urge to clean a coin, because cleaning can destroy value instantly. You store coins properly. You research recent sales. You study market trends. You connect with reputable dealers and auction houses. And you move strategically, not emotionally. Let us address fear for a moment. What if you ignore your old coins and miss a rare error? What if years from now you discover that a penny you spent could have funded a dream vacation, paid off debt, or boosted your retirement savings? That fear is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to motivate you. Now let us inject excitement. Imagine holding a 1948 no-mint Mark Wheat penny in flawless condition, its surfaces glowing with original mint luster. Imagine submitting it for grading and receiving a top-tier mint state designation. Imagine listing it in a high-profile auction and watching bids climb. $100. $500. $1,000. Higher. The room grows tense. Online bidders click rapidly. The final hammer falls at a figure that once seemed impossible for a single-cent coin. That is not fantasy. That is the power of rarity meeting demand, and here is a pattern interrupt for you. Imagine reaching into a dusty jar of old coins tonight, and pulling out a small copper treasure that could change your financial future. Not a lottery ticket. Not a risky investment. Just a simple, forgotten penny. What if I told you that a Lincoln Wheat penny struck in 1954 with a tiny D beneath the date has electrified collectors, shaken auction rooms, and quietly turned ordinary people into unexpected winners? And here's the real question: could one of these be hiding in your home right now? Stay with me, because this is not just a story about a coin. This is a story about awareness. About opportunity. About the thin line between overlooking a cent and discovering a fortune. Today we're diving deep into the 1954 D Mint Mark Wheat penny, its powerful error varieties, its rising demand, and the maximum market value that has stunned seasoned collectors across America. Let's begin. The year is 1954. America is surging forward in the post-war boom. Automobiles gleam under showroom lights. Suburbs expand. Families dream bigger than ever. And inside the facilities of the United States Mint, millions upon millions of copper cents are struck for everyday commerce. Among them, coins bearing the small d mint mark of the Denver Mint quietly enter circulation. At first glance, the 1954 D wheat penny seems ordinary. On the obverse, the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, faces right. On the reverse, two elegant wheat stalks frame the words, 1 cent and United States of America. Simple. Familiar. Humble. But here's where the story turns. Within the flood of regular strikes, a small number of coins were born imperfect. And in the world of coin collecting, imperfection can mean perfection in value. Have you ever looked closely at the word liberty on your pennies? Have you ever tilted the coin under a bright light and noticed subtle doubling? Have you examined the date carefully, letter by letter? Because certain 1954 D wheat pennies exhibit dramatic repunched mint marks, double die characteristics, and striking anomalies that send collectors into bidding frenzies. And here's the fear trigger that should make you pause. How many of these coins have already slipped through your hands unnoticed? Think about that. How many jars of change have been cashed in without inspection? How many estate sales sold coin collections for face value? How many people dismissed a 1954 D penny because it looked old but common? This is where awareness becomes wealth. The coin market thrives on condition and rarity. A worn 1954 D penny may be modest in value. But a sharply struck, high-grade specimen with a recognized error. That's a different universe. Collectors compete aggressively for coins graded in mint state condition by top certification services. Auction houses spotlight them. Investors track them. Picture an auction room buzzing with anticipation. A spotlight. A slabbed 1954 D wheat penny with a bold repunched mint mark error displayed on a screen. Bidders raise paddles. Online participants click furiously. The numbers climb. $500. $1,000. Several thousand. The energy thickens. Now imagine the realization that you once had won. That emotional tension is real in the coin world. It's happening every year. The Wheat Penny series ended in 1958, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. That means the 1954 D is part of a closed chapter in American numismatic history. Closed chapters create scarcity psychology. Scarcity fuels demand. Demand drives price, and here's the exciting truth: collectors are not losing interest in mid-century wheat pennies. In fact, as baby boomers and seasoned collectors continue building complete sets, demand for premium-grade coins intensifies. Registry set competition pushes prices upward. Online marketplaces amplify visibility. So let's talk about errors specifically. A repunched mint mark, often abbreviated RPM, occurs when the mint mark is punched into the die more than once at slightly different angles or positions. On a 1954 D penny, this can create visible shadowing or doubling around the D. To an untrained eye, it might look like a small blur. To a trained collector, it can look like opportunity. Double die varieties can show separation in letters or numbers. If you see extra thickness, split serifs, or distinct doubling in the date or lettering, do not ignore it. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Cleaning can destroy collector value instantly. Yes, that's a moment of fear you should feel. Because countless valuable coins have lost most of their worth due to improper cleaning. Let me ask you something directly. When was the last time you examined your pocket change carefully? When was the last time you searched through that old coffee can full of coins in the garage? When was the last time you asked your parents or grandparents if they still had their old coin jars? From pocket change to millions is not a fantasy phrase. It's a mindset shift. It's about recognizing that extraordinary value sometimes hides in ordinary places. Now let's connect this to action. How do you sell old rare coins? How does someone in the United States confidently sell a 1954 D wheat penny if they believe it has an error? First, knowledge. Study the coin under magnification. Compare it to verified images from reputable numismatic resources. Second, authentication. Submitting a potentially valuable coin to a respected grading service can establish legitimacy and condition. Third, market exposure. High-demand coins often perform best through established auction platforms where competitive bidding can maximize final price, but here's a pattern interrupt for you. Imagine walking into a fast food drive-thru and paying with a penny worth thousands of dollars. That's not the combo meal you were aiming for, right? It sounds humorous. But it has happened. Valuable coins have circulated unnoticed for years. Let's elevate the urgency. The coin market fluctuates. Collector interest surges. Auction trends shift. When demand is strong, high-grade error coins can command impressive prices. When you discover a rare variety, timing your sale strategically can make a significant difference. You might be wondering right now, how do I know if my 1954 D penny is truly rare? Look for sharp detail in Lincoln's hair. Examine the wheat lines on the reverse. Inspect the mint mark carefully. Seek professional evaluation if you suspect something unusual. And remember, condition is king. A coin preserved in pristine mint state condition can multiply in value compared to a worn example. Now let's talk about lifestyle motivation. Why do people search for rare coins? Some want supplemental income. Some want retirement security. Some want the thrill of the hunt. Others dream of transforming a small discovery into a stepping stone toward financial freedom. For viewers between 30 and 65 years old, this isn't about fantasy. It's about intelligent asset recognition. It's about turning overlooked items into liquid value. It's about positioning yourself ahead of those who never bother to look. Picture this scenario: you discover a sharply struck 1954 D wheat penny with a recognized error. It grades exceptionally high. It enters a competitive auction. Collectors across the country bid aggressively. The final hammer price exceeds expectations. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins that has been sitting quietly in your kitchen cabinet for decades, and discovering that one small copper coin could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. What if I told you that a simple 1957 wheat penny with no mint mark, a coin millions of Americans once carried in their pockets, could hold the key to a financial breakthrough? Would you look at your spare change differently tonight? Would you finally open that old shoebox in the closet? This is not fantasy. This is the power of knowledge. And today, we are diving deep into the story, the potential, and the opportunity behind the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny, officially known as the 1957 Lincoln Wheat cent struck by the United States Mint. A coin born in the era of Elvis, tailfins, and the booming American dream. A coin that may be hiding in plain sight. Let's begin with the truth that most people overlook. The 1957 no-mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, part of the historic United States Mint. In 1957, coins produced in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark. So when you see no letter beneath the date, that's not a mistake, that's Philadelphia. And in that year, over 282 million Lincoln Wheat cents were produced there. At first glance, that sounds common, doesn't it? Millions minted. Nothing special. Just another old penny. But here's where things change: not all 1957 no-mint mark pennies are equal. Condition is king. Error is power. Scarcity within abundance is where fortunes are made. And this is where fear and urgency should wake you up. Because while millions were made, only a tiny fraction survive today in high-grade, uncirculated condition. And an even smaller fraction exhibit rare mint errors that collectors aggressively chase. Have you ever heard of the legendary 1957 double die obverse? While most double dies are associated with Denver Mint coins, certain strong varieties from 1957 are highly coveted. Imagine examining your coin under magnification and seeing doubling on the date or the inscriptions. The letters Liberty slightly shadowed. The motto "In God We Trust" subtly doubled. Would you recognize it? Or would you spend it unknowingly on a cup of coffee? This is where excitement should start to build. Because high-grade 1957 no-mint Mark Wheat pennies graded MS-67 red by professional grading services have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Yes, thousands, for a 1-cent coin. In exceptional cases, pristine examples with blazing red luster and flawless surfaces have crossed auction blocks at powerful prices driven by intense collector demand. Why? Because collectors don't just buy coins. They buy perfection. They buy history. They buy rarity in top population grades. When third-party grading companies certify a coin at the very highest levels, it becomes part of an elite population. And when demand outweighs supply, prices climb rapidly. Now let me ask you something important. When was the last time you checked the pennies in your drawer under proper lighting? Have you ever examined them with a magnifying glass? Do you know how to identify original mint luster versus cleaning damage? Are you sure that old coin you dismissed years ago wasn't the one collectors are hunting today? Let's move into the deeper story. Act 1 is discovery. The ordinary man or woman, maybe someone just like you, inherits a jar of coins from a parent or grandparent. Most people see clutter. But one day curiosity strikes. They search a date. They see auction results. They feel a pulse of possibility. That is the turning point. That is when ignorance transforms into opportunity. Act 2 is awareness and urgency. They begin to learn about grading. About mint state versus circulated condition. About red, red-brown, and brown-copper classifications. They discover that a bright red 1957 no-mint Mark penny in near-perfect condition is not common at all. They learn that once copper turns brown from oxidation, its value in high grade decreases dramatically. And they realize something powerful: condition preservation over decades creates value concentration, and here is where fear becomes a motivator. Because improper cleaning destroys value. Wiping a coin to make it shiny can reduce a 4-figure treasure into a 1-cent curiosity. How many valuable coins have been ruined by well-meaning owners with polishing cloths? How many opportunities have slipped through careless fingers? But you are different. You are watching this because you want knowledge before action. Act 3 is empowerment. The individual sends the coin to a professional grading service. The coin returns encapsulated in a protective holder with an official grade. The population report shows only a small number at that level. Auction houses list it. Bidders compete. The final hammer price surprises even seasoned collectors. This is not just about a penny. This is about awareness. It is about turning overlooked items into strategic assets. From pocket change to serious money. From a forgotten drawer to a competitive auction floor. And now let's address the questions I know are already forming in your mind: how to sell old rare coins. How to sell coins safely in the United States. How to make money from coins without being taken advantage of. How to move from curiosity to real profit. First, education is leverage. Before selling anything, research completed auction results, not just asking prices. Study realized sales through reputable auction houses. Understand the difference between dealer offers and auction competition. Second, authentication and grading create trust. Serious buyers want certified coins. A raw coin might receive skepticism. A professionally graded coin commands confidence. Confidence brings stronger bids. Third, choose your selling platform wisely. Local coin shops offer speed and convenience. Major auction houses offer exposure and competitive bidding. Online marketplaces offer accessibility but require knowledge and protection. Would you rather accept the first offer, or would you position your coin in front of thousands of hungry collectors nationwide? Let's bring it back to the 1957 no-mint Mark Wheat penny. While circulated examples are typically modest in value, uncirculated red gems command premium prices. Exceptional pieces have reached into the thousands at auction. And rare varieties, strong double dies, off-center strikes, dramatic mint anomalies, can elevate value significantly. The market for classic American coinage remains resilient because it is fueled by history, nostalgia, and tangible ownership. Unlike paper investments, coins are physical. They can be held, preserved, Passed down, and here's a powerful mental shift: every coin has a story. The 1957 wheat penny circulated during the Eisenhower era. It may have passed through diners, hardware stores, drive-in theaters. It witnessed an America in transition. When you hold one, you are holding a fragment of economic history. Now imagine combining emotional value with certified rarity. That is where serious money flows. Let me ask you directly. What if tonight, after this video, you decide to examine every penny you own? What if you discover not just one 1957 no mint mark, but one in stunning condition? What if that coin becomes your entry point into a broader strategy of coin collecting and investing? From pocket changes to millions may sound dramatic. But every major collection begins with one coin. Every successful seller begins with one informed decision. And what if I told you that one version of this ordinary-looking cent has sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if that single coin could change the way you look at every handful of change for the rest of your life? Today, we are diving deep into the power, the mystery, and the astonishing value of the 1958 wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny, struck at the legendary Denver Mint. Before you scroll away or dismiss this as another coin story, let me ask you something. How many times have you ignored a penny on the ground? How many jars of old coins are sitting in American homes right now, overlooked and underestimated? And how would you feel if one of those pennies turned out to be worth more than a luxury car, more than a down payment on a house, more than what many people earn in years? Stay with me, because this is not just about a coin. This is about opportunity. This is about awareness. This is about transforming pocket change into serious money. Act 1 begins with something simple. In 1958, the United States was closing a chapter. It was the final year of the wheat design on the Lincoln cent before the design changed in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse still carried the iconic portrait of President Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. The reverse featured the classic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. The 1958 wheat penny was struck in large numbers, and on the surface, it seems common. Millions were minted. Most are worth only a few cents in circulated condition. But hidden within that year lies one of the most dramatic error stories in modern American numismatics. Here is where excitement begins to build. Among the 1958 cents, a rare and powerful error emerged: the 1958 double die obverse. This error shows dramatic doubling in the inscriptions, especially in the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." The doubling is bold, unmistakable, and highly sought after. Only a few authentic examples are known. Imagine that. Out of millions of coins, only a handful carry this rare genetic fingerprint of the minting process. And when one of these coins appears at auction, collectors compete fiercely. One authenticated 1958 double die wheat penny has sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, hundreds of thousands for a single cent. Let that sink in. A coin that originally represented 1 cent of purchasing power transformed into a six-figure asset. This is the kind of story that fuels collectors, investors, and treasure hunters across the United States. It creates urgency. It creates hope. It creates action. Now let me pause and ask you directly. When was the last time you examined your old pennies under magnification? Have you ever looked closely at the date, the mint mark, the lettering? Or do you simply assume that old coins are ordinary? What if your assumption is the only thing standing between you and a life-changing discovery? As we move deeper into Act 1, understand this: the 1958 mint mark itself does not automatically guarantee high value. Condition matters. Eye appeal matters. Mint state coins with original red luster command premium prices. But when you combine high grade with a rare error, that is where magic happens. That is where auctions ignite. That is where headlines are written. Act 2 is where tension rises. Because with opportunity comes competition. The coin market is powerful, active, and constantly moving. Collectors are always searching. Dealers are always buying. Auction houses are always promoting rare finds. If you own a rare 1958 D wheat penny error and you do not know it, someone else may discover it before you do. That is not meant to create fear, but to awaken awareness. Knowledge protects you. Knowledge empowers you. You may be asking right now, how to sell old rare coins. How to sell old and rare coins in USA and its value in auction shop. How to make money from coins. How to go from pocket changes to millions. These are not foolish questions. These are powerful questions. The first step is identification. You must confirm exactly what you have. That means examining the coin carefully, preferably with a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the date and lettering. Look for sharp details. Look for mint state surfaces with minimal wear. The next step is authentication and grading. Reputable third-party grading services can certify your coin. When a coin is authenticated and encapsulated, it gains credibility. It gains trust. And trust translates into higher bidding activity at auction. Serious collectors pay serious money for certified rarities. Now let me reset your attention with a simple thought. If a penny can sell for 6 figures, what else in your house have you underestimated? That old baseball card? That vintage watch? That forgotten collection in the attic? Sometimes wealth is not about earning more. Sometimes it is about recognizing what you already own. Back to our 1958 D wheat penny. High-grade examples without the double die error can still command strong prices if they are in pristine red condition. Collectors building complete Lincoln sets seek the finest known specimens. Registry set competition drives demand higher. When demand rises and supply remains limited, prices follow. This is basic economics, yet it feels extraordinary when applied to a coin originally worth 1 cent. Let us talk about auctions. Major auction platforms in the United States attract global bidders. When a rare coin is listed with professional photography, detailed description, and verified certification, it creates excitement. Bidders compete. Prices climb. Sometimes the final hammer price exceeds all expectations. This is why presentation matters. This is why timing matters. This is why strategy matters. You might wonder, should I sell to a local coin shop or go straight to auction? The answer depends on your coin's rarity and grade. For common circulated pieces, a local dealer may be the quickest route. For rare errors or high-grade specimens, a national auction house can expose your coin to thousands of competitive buyers. The wider the audience, the stronger the potential outcome. Act 2 also carries urgency. The coin market moves in cycles. Interest in rare pennies can surge when media stories highlight record sales. When collectors become aware of a dramatic price result, they search more aggressively. That surge creates opportunity. Waiting too long without proper storage or protection can risk damage. And damage reduces value. So awareness must lead to action. Now imagine this scene. You are sorting through an old family coin jar. You notice a bright 1958 penny with a D mint mark. You hold it under light. The lettering looks unusual. You compare it with images online. Your heart starts beating faster. Could this be the rare double die? That moment of realization is electric. It is the moment when ordinary transforms into extraordinary.